Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, and holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing. If you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
Hello, hello, hello. I hope everybody's doing well today. YouTube Daddy is having some issues, and so I went to upload a video earlier today that we could watch on our way ahead of this live, but it wouldn't do it. So we're going to watch it together live, and I'll post it later. You thought you were having, you're having flashbacks because of the AOL instant, the song thing? Yeah, it's funny. I hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, tell me what you had for dinner. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, tell me what you wish you had for dinner. I still wish I had Chinese food. Haven't had it yet. Still want it. What about you guys? Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. What was I gonna say? Oh, that's such a nice question. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3 videos to watch tonight, and they are somewhat centered around child support, custody, divorce, etc. The first one that we'll watch is indeed the one that I made, and then the first one that we'll watch is indeed the one that I've made. Tried to upload like 3 times, didn't work yet. So, it is indeed already edited. Woohoo! Great job. This case wasn't like as scandalous as some of the ones that we watched. Like, for example, if you didn't catch it, I posted, we watched last night, and then we posted today the case where the mom lied about being pregnant. Don't do that. Don't lie in court. Anyways, so without further ado, let's get started. Quickest beginning we've ever had. Oh no, never mind. I remembered what I wanted to talk about. Oh my God. I'm being serious. I really just remembered. Okay, so maybe we'll wait till an intermission. Yeah, let's just watch this first. We'll watch this first. See, while I'm on screen, it won't play properly. Why do you hate me? Why? Why? Why?
It would be her end, Your Honor. I can hear you, and I can hear Mr. Robinson.
Okay, sounds good. You may lower your hand, ma'am. If you have trouble hearing, let us know, because you need to be able to fully participate in the hearing, and it might be weather-based today.
Yes, ma'am.
And yes, a few housekeeping issues before we proceed. The first is I'm an associate judge, and so you do have the right to a de novo hearing before the referring court regarding any decisions I make.
De novo is a Latin phrase meaning of new. So a de novo hearing would address the same complaint or petition as if the initial conference did not occur. Hi, Courtney.
Also, please note that audio, video recording, photographing, or broadcasting of court proceedings is prohibited. This applies to
you, and I'm so powerful I stopped your video. No, you didn't. StreamYard sucks today.
YouTube, so nobody should be doing that. Also, please remember, even though you're on devices, this is court, and so please treat it like that. Please treat everyone with respect. Generally, we take testimony in court where one of you is asked questions at a time. If you're not the person being asked questions, unless you have a legal objection, please don't interrupt or answer for the other person. You'll both be given a chance to be asked questions, and you'll both be given a chance to speak. Since it appears you're both representing yourselves right now. Also, please note I'm not with the Attorney General's office. So anything that you've discussed with them or spoken to them, it's not supposed to get to me, and it doesn't. So anything.
Oh my God, it's not even working with me on the screen. Is that a YouTube problem? Is that a me problem? Is that a StreamYard problem? I'm partial to blame YouTube today since they're already having a known issue with something else. But fuck, this is pissing me off.
With them or spoken to them, it's not supposed to get to me, and it doesn't. So anything that's important about your case that you think I need to consider when ruling, please be sure you say it during the hearing, and don't assume Mr. Collins going to get it to me, because he can't. And you may proceed, Mr. Collins.
To start off, and ask the court to take judicial notice of the registration of the June 3rd, 2013 divorce decree from the state of Georgia.
I see the notice of registration. And this is quite small. I see the state of Georgia affidavit of the clerk of court attached, which shows the attached pages are during corrections. They certify to that. And I see the final judgment and decree of divorce.
Yes, Judge, you do. Now, please work.
Mr. Robinson filed for the divorce. Ms. Robinson did not appear. At that time, the child Layla was residing with the plaintiff, Mr. Robinson, and the child Elise was residing with Ms. Robinson. So each party had a child, and they were awarded joint legal custody. So.
And that is today, Your Honor. We did not plead for it, but it's my understanding the parties are asking the court to grant a trial amendment, finding that the children live with Mr. Robinson, that they be joint managing conservators, with Mr. Robinson being the primary, and that Ms. Robinson have visitation pursuant to the standard possession order. Mr. Robinson is.
Oh, I put Streamlabs up on the screen and StreamYard gets all pissy. Fine, I won't do that again.
Visitation pursuant to the standard possession order. Mr. Robinson, is that your agreement?
Yes, it is.
Ms.
So are you
Robinson?
driving? Because it sounds like, are you just in the rain right now, or are you driving? Because I hear kind of something in the background. And you got a little muffled.
I'm in the rain. My
Okay.
daughter is having a couple problems right now.
Okay.
But
Are
I'm
you?
here.
Okay. You're in a safe place. Okay. Just want to make sure you're
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
You can continue.
All right, Ms. Robinson, he said yes.
Yeah.
So Ms. Robinson, is that also your agreement?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to call Mr. Elijah Robinson as my first witness. And sir, you are the father of the children?
Yes, I am.
All right. And do the children currently have
Why do you do this to me, you stupid thing?
any type of medical or dental coverage?
Yes, they have medical and dental.
Through what?
Through the VA.
So is that TRICARE
Um,
or CAMP?
it's called Chant VA. It's called Chant. It's just like TRICARE, but it's called Chant VA.
All right, CHAMP, not CAMP. All right, sorry. Are you asking for any reimbursement on any premiums for that?
No.
Are you requesting that the court order Miss Robinson to pay you child support for the children?
Yes.
Was that a yes?
Yes.
All right. Sorry, I was some other noise and I didn't hear you.
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to pass this witness, Your Honor.
Okay. You can call the next witness.
I would call Denise Robinson.
Denise Robinson to the stage, please. Denise Robinson to the stage.
Okay. You can call the next witness.
I would call Denise Robinson. Ma'am, you are in fact the mother of the two children?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you currently employed?
Yes, sir.
Where are you employed?
I'm working for Texas Disposal Systems, but it's through a temp agency at the moment.
Okay. All right. Do they pay you by the hour or is that a salary?
Hourly.
And how much are they paying you per hour?
It's $21 an hour.
And are they working you at least 40 hours a week?
Yes, sir.
I guess my question should have been, how many hours a week are they working you?
It's 40.
Okay. And do you have any other minor biological children other than these two?
No, sir.
So if you're just getting here, hi, we're going to catch up here while I pray that it just starts working. The mom, she disagrees with the child support amount that they're about, but mom does not have possession. And it appears that it's been approximately 11 years since they were originally working off their divorce decree in 2013. Sorry, yeah, 2013. And as we're going to see going forward here, dad sort of puts mom in her place a little bit. I even noted like her eyes. She does an eye rolling, which is like annoying. But anyways, all right, video work.
No, sir.
No other dependents. Okay. Do you happen to know if you have...
No minor children. I have an adult daughter that lives with me, though.
All right. And how long have you been with this job?
I can't hear anything
How long
you're
have you
saying,
been
sir.
employed?
Oh,
How long have you been employed?
This is going on the third week. I started April 15th.
All right. So would it... So would it be fair for me to say at this time you do not have any private health or dental insurance available for the children?
Not yet, sir, no.
All right. All right. And it's been explained to you how the guidelines work for the child support? Or at least, all right.
What?
We use the $21 an hour
yes.
times 40 hours times 52 weeks divided by 12 gives us a monthly gross.
Yes, sir.
From that monthly gross, you get certain deductions such as standard taxes. Are you having any union dues?
No, sir.
Is that job here in Texas?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you don't have no out-of-state income tax. All right. And then
No.
we get to a net. So right now I'm showing your gross monthly of being $3,640. Your net resources would be 3090.08. 2 children before the court, no others, so that's 25%, which is $772.52. You've been provided with at least that amount? You've been informed that's the calculation?
Yes, the previous lady told us that number. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right. But it's my understanding that you are not agreeing to that amount and wish to explain to the court why the court should not order this amount?
That is
Okay, now is the time that we all get to guess what is the reason that mama doesn't want to pay guideline child support. And let's keep in mind, guideline is guideline. I don't think there's a gender. It's if you are in possession of the kids or not. So this is, what do we think that she wants to, or why she doesn't think she should pay $772.50 for child support? I'm just gonna, she's not very wordy, I'll say that. She's quite succinct with it, so I stopped it just in time. You remember this dress cost $3. I'm a cheap mama. This is a $3 dress, and it's reversible, which makes it $1.50 per style that you can wear. So that's a deal. Thank you. She doesn't get to see them. That is a good guess. Oh, see, it's coming in strong. Thank you so much. Petty reasons. We know women are petty sometimes. Okay, let's say no more bets. Only because I want to use the graphics that I made. $3 dress is part of $14 rent. $3 dress. I love this dress. I bought it in Orlando. $3 dress on a $2 hoe. I gotta do some calculations before I say what $2 per second. Yeah, that's like what, 120 an hour now. $2 per millisecond. Okay, let's see. Oh, no, remove yourself.
roughly an entire paycheck, and I just started working this job.
Okay. Is there any other reason why the court should not order this amount as the child support?
I asked if it could be a lesser amount and proposed $500 to start off with until I can get a higher hourly wage.
Is there anything else you believe the court needs to know as far as calculating the child support? Is there any other reason why the court should not set the child support based on
Everything you
guidelines?
just said just cut out. I'm sorry.
Is there any other reason why the court should Is there any other reason why the court should not set guidelines child support.
Okay, I think you're back. I'm sorry, it keeps cutting out every time you're talking. I apologize.
Anything else?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
The state does not represent either of you, so I'm going to give you both the chance to say anything else you'd like to say. Mr. Robinson, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Okay, so keep in mind, Mr. Robinson is on the phone. I think that if he's got the children on VA benefits, would that mean that he was a serving member of the military? I feel like that would be a safe assumption, but maybe I'm totally off base here, being Canadian and all. But because they're talking about VA benefits. So I'm assuming that he was the former military member. Because otherwise it would be on her. Yeah. It's tough. Also, I hope that the children aren't listening to this. I just thought of that. If he's driving or not driving, just in the rain. Who just hangs out in the rain, by the way? VA means your ex-military. Okay, you guys are awesome. Thank you.
I'd like to say that I understand her situation. However, I've been doing this alone for 11 years. If I had to get 2 or 3 jobs to take care of these kids, I did it. If my late wife, who had stage 4 inflammatory breast cancer, could get a job, an extra job to help pay for these kids, I don't see any reason why she shouldn't be able to.
Did we catch that? Just turned really sad. Let's watch her face again as she hears him fucking burn her. Right. It's a burn, savage burn. But watch her eyes. And honestly, I really hope that I was really giving her the fucking benefit of the doubt. I tell you guys, I was like, she did not just roll her eyes at the dead wife. No, she did not.
Did it. If my late wife, who had stage 4 inflammatory breast cancer, could get a job, an extra job to help pay for these kids, I don't.
Hold on. Maybe she's looking up to heaven for strength. Right? Maybe that's it.
See any reason why she shouldn't be able to.
Ms. Robinson, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No.
I'm sorry, Ms.
I
Robinson.
will.
Mhm.
I apologize, ma'am. Yes, I will get a second job.
Oh,
I will be
okay.
able to
Sorry.
see my kids now.
Ma'am, how often are you paid? Are you paid weekly, bi-weekly, monthly?
With this temp agency, I believe it's weekly, but it falls into the second week. So I've only gotten 1 paycheck so far.
So-
Yeah, I bet you're right. But she that other woman was paying for her kids. You have to understand, like, you can't if you know that you're a face revealer like I am, why do you think I still wear masks? I still wear masks to this day. Not only because it gives me a new selfie angle that I really appreciated, the under chin angle that guys with beards can get. Now I can do under chin selfie shots with a mask, but and also only like half makeup. But in reality, I get in a lot of trouble for making faces at people when they talk. I just can't control. I mean, it's enough for me to control my voice. Sometimes I'm like, I cannot keep my face in line too. So I don't know. I just think she should have just not gone on the camera. The other guy's not on the camera. It doesn't seem like they're sticky about it. God damn it, Streamlabs. Or StreamYard. You're killing me today. Why are you doing this?
I am going to set child support. I'm going to approve the trial amendment and agreement of parties regarding conservatorship and visitation of the children. That was dictated onto the record by Mr. Cullum. And I am going to set child support based on the guidelines. It will be $773 per month, but that's beginning on June 1st of 2024. Hopefully that will help get you a little more grounded in the job before that kicks in.
And just to make sure that we're covering it, Your Honor,
Oh.
Mr. Robinson had testified the children were covered by the CHAMP VA, but he was not asking for reimbursement. So are you ordering him to continue to provide the CHAMP VA for the children?
Yes, I'm still ordering him. Sir, I'm going to order you to provide the insurance and dental support through CHAMP VA with no reimbursement based on your request.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Start the camera, unmute it, say thank you to Chris. Love you. Extrait clarté. Extra clarity for anybody. First of all, Paisley, first of all, say thank you, for God's sakes, please. Say thank you. Oh, my arm. Don't disappear. Also, guys, if any of you are like, oh my God, I love our friend Chris, but I can't tag him anymore, put a space before his name and then it'll work. It's amazing. So thankful for you, Chris. Love you too. Okay, let me see here. So what do we think of that case? Let's talk about it for a minute. Let's talk about it for a moment. I think she said the only appropriate response that didn't make me be more mad at her, which was, okay, I'll get a second job. Now, what she doesn't realize, I don't think, but is obvious to me and you and everybody else who watches these cases a lot, is that the more income she makes, the more child support she will need to pay. So it's a guideline and it goes with the, it goes with the income. So getting a second job is only going to actually increase the child support payment. I know that because one year my ex-husband did that. He went out and got a second job, and then it happened to be the year that we were in court. And first of all, I had never gone for any sort of increase in child support at all. And so it was already low. But then I didn't have a lawyer. Stupid. Take a lawyer to court. I didn't. But I have a little bit of an ace up my sleeve. I don't think it's a good idea, but I'm just going to say, I went in there and I was like, I just said, I literally said, okay, well, but is it based on the income? And then they said, yes, it is. And then I said, well, is it based on all of the income? Because I've heard that he's working a different job. And then they asked his attorney, is he working a different job? And the attorney was like, let me check. Comes back, he made an extra like 40K that year. So it was not good for him, because then it looked like they were hiding it. And he was like, well, I'm just quitting. I'm going to quit that job immediately. And they're like, you can't really do that. That's not how that works. So we know that. But he didn't. Anyways, so let's go ahead. Our next case is going to be Judge Ricky from Kansas. Mayor, here's something interesting about that. Someone who isn't me had a job before where they worked for the Attorney General's office, and they answered letters from people about child support obligations a lot of the time. And that was a very common occurrence. So people would say, my child is 21, 22, 23, 24. They're still in college. They're still in university. The divorce decree somehow still puts them into a child support obligation period. And then the courts or family maintenance, which is what the program is called here where I live, they follow a court order. So if you bring them a court order and they say, child support till 25, I guess it happens. And it's odd. I remember, like, I literally got a letter like that, and I was like, well, this can't be right. We should fix this for this guy. This is awesome. We get to fix the problem. And they were like, oh, Paisley, no, we're not going to fix his problem. You need to write him a letter that, like, dances around the problem. And in short, that's why I didn't like that job, and I left. Okay, so anyways, Judge Ricky.
Case number 2015 DM 442. Shawnee Millward, now Gibbs, appears at a court security monitored Zoom location at the Judicial Center. Alex Flores appears as domestic conciliator. There apparently is no appearance on behalf of Chase Millward, despite the fact that both he and his attorney were notified of today's hearing. The matter before the court.
Hold on, his attorney didn't show up? That's weird. That's bad. Whew. Klenda Austerman. Yeah, I don't know where he's from. I'm just yelling the man's name. Klenda Austerman.
Is a motion for domestic conciliation fees filed by Mr. Flores. Flores, I've read your motion. Do you have anything that you would add to your written submission?
No, Your Honor, and my assistant did provide to yourself and Ms. Millward about 30 to 45 minutes ago just a summary or the letter.
Oh, I was almost positive we were going to hear an accent out of his mouth. Just a vague European accent, you know?
That we had also sent to Ms. Millward, just further breaking down and the amount owed and requested, because I understand that may have not been quite as clear in our motion. So I just wanted Your Honor to know precisely how I arrived at that balance. If Your Honor would like me to provide that or break that down, I'm more than happy to.
All right. Shawnee Gibbs?
Yes, sir.
It would appear Mr. Flores takes the position that you owe domestic conciliation fees that remain unpaid.
Hold on. Wait, who's bringing this motion? The domestic conciliator? conciliator? That's a weird word. He's saying y'all didn't pay me. And then the other lawyer didn't show up? Ay, ay, ay. That's weird.
According to the motion, $1,311.14.
That's what he's saying, yes.
And your position on this is what?
I paid him the upfront $600.
Wait, who the fuck is the lady beside you? Obviously, I'm recognizing a facial similarity here. Look at their mouth. That's a mama. What are you doing there, Mom? You can't represent her. Unless you're a lawyer, and if you were a lawyer, you would be talking. Suffice it to say, you ain't. This is weird. Mom or a sister, and they've aged terribly. Oh, maybe William, that's a possibility. Perhaps she is borrowed the $600 from her mom and is here to have that be proof. I think he is, in fact, the head, what does they call it? The senior judge, the head judge, he's the top honcho. I know everyone thinks that Judge Webster in Kansas is the top of the line, but I do believe it's Judge Ricky. Yeah. I'm not a lawyer and I'm talking, yeah, but I'm on the YouTubes and I'm out of the grasp of the United States government in Canada for the moment. Knock on wood. Careful, Paisley. Don't fucking... Somebody, do you know, okay, first, just before we start, or continue, I was watching this thing and lipstick on my thing. They were like, it was a Justin Bieber, Hailey Bieber, like gossip piece basically from that channel that I like. And she was talking about the theories about their relationships. And her main theory was that he's doing it for a green card. And I was just like, if Justin fucking Bieber can't immigrate to the United States on his own accord, you got to be kidding me. In no world does he need to marry an American to do that. You guys are cool with Canadians coming as long as we are very entertaining, I think. I'm being serious. Like, I was just like taken aback. I was like, you got to be joking me. Green card marriage for Justin Bieber? No. Maybe the opposite. Maybe Hailey Bieber wants to fucking come to Canada. And her Baldwin background wouldn't get her in. But you got to be joking. I'm sorry. Come on. No. Y'all don't hate him. You don't hate him. You think you want to hate him, but you don't. Or you didn't. Am I humble bragging how I went to Florida? Yeah. I hope to go to Florida again this year, if I'm lucky. Justin Bieber is married to Hailey Baldwin, who is Stephen Baldwin's daughter. Yeah, Stephen Baldwin's daughter, who's like Alec Baldwin's brother. No, she's taken his last name. That's why she has the Bieber last name. But, and this was also in that Scandi video, which, I mean, go watch it. But she said that she wanted to form a cosmetic company right after they got married, but she wanted to call it Bieber Cosmetics or Bieber Beauty. But then she got a copy, like a infringement claim on it from him about their last name, their shared last name. That's weird. Whew. Anyways. Okay. I know where Holly is. She's in Florida. I'm jealous. I want to be in Florida right now. The amount of money I pay here, I could pay in Florida and probably have a really nice place, to be honest with you. But do I need to marry somebody to go to Florida? Like if Justin Bieber doesn't have a chance, do I ever have a chance? Also, we can spend 182 days in America without immigrating or losing our Canadian healthcare.
Which was supposed to be split between Mr. Millward and I. And then we paid the interview fees, which he told me would be $1,500, which we paid up front before our meeting. And he told me as long as we weren't needed in court, or he was not needed in court, there would not be any additional charges,
He told me that. I wrote the check.
which is why I brought her along with me.
I spoke to you on the phone.
And then after
What is this, a tag team event? Mom, I know you guys fucking called it. Kudos to the extra points to the person who called that, who said, oh, mom paid the bill. This is out of line, though. That's out of line. Interesting. Yeah, mom speaking to the manager, Judge Ricky. Excuse me, I need to talk to the manager.
court, he refused to return any of my calls that I had left him messages.
All right. Mr. Flores?
Sure, Judge. I'll start with the non-returned calls. There were calls returned to Ms. Millward via my legal assistant. And Judge, any disputes as it relates to billing, I always try to advance those in writing. So those were provided. I have provided evidence of my writings to the court in that regard. And I know despite my legal assistant's attempts to contact Ms. Millward, even reach agreements to a potential reduction, were denied. I guess she was upset with the initial lack of a returned call. I wish she would have wrote me on these things. I was writing her on these things. There was never any assurances made that these were going to be covering everything. I would argue the agreement itself does not even provide for that. It actually says if your deposit does not sufficiently cover the witness and exhibit review time, you'll be asked to provide additional deposit funds before the work commences. And Judge, there's rarely in these cases, if ever, have I ever had a case that the initial deposit covers this, particularly through an investigative phase or into the writing recommendation phase of this. There was extensive work put into this. I worked after hours. I expedited the writing, the recommendation and report in advance.
No, sorry. You don't get to be no, I'm sorry. After hours would imply you didn't bill, right? Like, I understand that you would bill, and that's why you don't get to claim that you worked extra hour or that you were like extra. No, they're all billable hours. You don't get a different rate. No, that's just your time management as as a lawyer. What hour of the day that somebody does that you do the work, I don't think is fair to bring in to it. I don't think so. Like, that would be implying that, yeah, like there's no such thing as after hours for lawyers to bill, because your hour is worth the same all day. And it's down to the minute. And the billing systems don't stop at fucking 6 o'clock. And they're like, oh, you need an authorization to work extra hours. No. No, you don't. Lawyers are incredibly adept at billing. Hey, as a lawyer, you might charge more, but that in itself would be sort of have to be outlined. Like, oh, when I have to, like that. I just don't think that, I don't think you could charge more for that. I don't think so. Like maybe, yeah, if you get a phone call in the middle of the night, you go down and bond somebody out like a service call, an appointment. You keep track of your time in 6-minute increments. Oh my God. Oh. Although I understand that in a much different manner, MB, when I worked for the engineering company, they wanted me to bill out my time, like separate my time to different projects and different lines within those projects, like cogs lines or whatever, or no, not cogs. Orcs and arcs. I can't remember what they are. Anyways, project lines. Anyways, it's haunting. I was not good at it.
Of trial, I had very short notice of this case and the trial date, so I did work exceptionally hard to provide what I hoped and thought was a thorough, sufficient report, and there was no promises or assurances made orally that this was going to be the final amount owed. And I would also note, Your Honor, Mr. Millward did pay his portion of the amount owed, so the only amount I'm seeking is from Miss Millward. She's the only one that is still left to pay me.
Oh, so that's why her lawyer didn't show up, or his lawyer didn't show up, because they paid. Now, that's a good point. That's a good question. Would you, as a lawyer, show up to this if your client had already paid? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't fucking know, because you're not going to get paid for it. You're not going to bill for that. You've already paid the bill. And I don't think the lawyer is going to get in trouble or for not appearing, because they are not like seemingly in trouble here. Even though at the beginning it sounded like it wasn't sure exactly who, that lawyer obviously did his homework and said, hey, you paid, we checked with Clenda over here, or Clenda's assistant.
What relief are you seeking today?
For today, Your Honor, I'm just seeking a judgment for that amount of the $1,311.14, and my fee engagement.
Hold on. So wait, her remaining amount is $1,300. She already paid $600, and then he already paid it. So $4,000 or $3,800. That's a lot. That is a lot.
Letter does note that each parent will receive an itemized statement setting forth the time and work completed each month. If your deposit has been depleted and an outstanding balance is owed, you are required to pay the same.
But MB, he's not the lawyer. He's the conciliatory, the domestic conciliatory. Domestic conciliation dude. And they still have to pay their lawyers are separate. He's just the one that the court made them go through, I guess, for would that be like mediation? That seems odd to me. Here, where I was mediation, oh, never mind. It's been too long. Hi, Tin Man. Hi, Tin Man. He wrote a report, though, so it sounds like the parents were contentious. I'm not disputing that. But what I'm saying is that I find one report to be costing $4,000 and Perhaps there was big mediation services in there. Maybe they spent hours together. But if it was just a report for $4,000, that sounds fishy to me. If he's got the hours all lined out, I'm sure he has. But that seems like a lot of hours. No matter how you look at it, that's a lot of work. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just listening to this for the first time with all of us together.
In full upon receipt of the billing statement. If your account remains unpaid after 60 days, I will ask the court to enter a judgment against you for the outstanding balance and interest thereon.
So the way that most law societies basically, well, how we deal with it here in Canada or in British Columbia is that a lawyer is bound by the rules of the court and they are officers of the court. So they agree to tell the truth and maintain their accounts properly, but in essence. Then specifically in British Columbia, the overarching body to monitor lawyers is called the Law Society of British Columbia. And they can go in and do an audit on somebody's books for any reason. So if a client comes and makes a complaint to them, they can then go in, and because to be a member in good standing, you have to sign over and agree to certain things. You have to subject yourself to these different reviews, basically. And I know this because for two reasons. I'm working on a project where I read lawyers' disciplinary reports, lawyers that have gotten in trouble in different places. They tend to be reprimanded by law societies or the bar, I guess it is. And so I've been working on a project like that. But also, again, that was when I worked for the government, that was under the umbrella there. So yeah, I found it interesting to read about disgraced lawyers and what would happen to them, but they would explain like what process they went through in the investigation and why they came to those things, those sort of decisions. Hello, Patrick.
Any credit balances at the end of the domestic conciliation process will be refunded accordingly. So Judge, I think that summarizes my position and my request for relief. And it does say that if those deposits aren't covered, then sufficient amounts will be owed or necessary to pay the balance due. So that's what I'm seeking, Judge. That specific amount is $1,311.14. And I'm not going to seek interest, Judge.
Okay. Shawnee, I'm going to ask if you have any additional remarks.
I do have concerns that he did not call me back and said that his secretary did, because the questions that I had were for him directly, not for his secretary. There were statements in court made that the kids were not asked to be interviewed, and I specifically asked them to be interviewed, which was not followed through with.
And Your Honor, just to that, I would say it was my understanding and reported from both counsel that Your Honor was going to interview the children, or actually did interview the children. I don't know if that actually happened, but that was relayed to the parties and pretty well understood, and there was no reason to duplicate or add additional fees if Your Honor was going to speak to the children, which I believe you may have done.
Yeah,
I did on August the 17th. All right, Mr. Flores, my question for you is, what is the statutory authority for this court to be able to grant a judgment to a non-party in the case?
Ooh, just asking the legal questions that none of us knew we should ask. Although I actually was wondering that. Would this not be a small claims matter? How is he able to bring this into a divorce court, in essence? Although On the other hand, I have absolutely heard Judge Manning explain that if somebody doesn't pay the court reporter is to come back, and that Judge Manning will make the payment happen. And I didn't doubt that for 1 second. We've heard that before. So perhaps this is up those same lines. I don't know what the statute is, Judge, because I ain't a lawyer, but hopefully Clenda does. Also, I do think it's appropriate if you're paying $4,000 to be able to speak to the person. I think that the secretary doing some of the reaching out is fine, but I do think that there should have been a full phone call, because if she didn't even get to have a full phone call and talk to him about that kind of stuff, then I would be, again, pretty worried about the report.
Well, just by contract, Judge, I don't have a statutory authority for that. This is how I've proceeded anytime I need to collect a fee on this, and that's why I've done that contractually with the parties, that I will appear before the court and ask that a judgment be entered, and that they have an opportunity to address the same with Your Honor. I suppose if necessary, and we need to bring a separate cause of action for this and the fees, I can do that and request my fees therein. But I thought by via contract I could proceed through this case.
Problem is the court's authority and jurisdiction to be able to grant a civil judgment against an individual in the case, and you're seeking as a non-party judgment in your favor that you can enforce. The only provision that I'm aware of that would allow that is for attorney fees. There's a specific statute which allows the court to grant a judgment in the attorney's name and have that enforced in the divorce case. But unfortunately, Mr. Flores, that doesn't appear to apply to anyone involved in alternative dispute resolution. However, to the extent necessary for the court to be involved, while the court will decline the request for a monetary judgment enforceable by Mr. Flores against Shawnee, I will make the finding that the fees that are charged in this case appear to the court to be reasonable in all respects, that Shawnee is responsible to pay these. The court.
Okay, Judge Ricky says they're reasonable. I'm going to say they're reasonable then. Judge Ricky is probably aware of attorney fees in Kansas. So I think I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
Does have the power to apportion costs such as this in the case specifically, and will do so here. The court will make a finding that Shawnee Gibbs is primarily responsible to pay the amount of $1,311.14. If that isn't paid within 28 days, I'm going to apportion that same amount jointly and severally to Chase Millward. He is a party in the case, and the court does have the power to make him responsible for these as well. He will be secondarily liable to pay this amount. Furthermore, if it is necessary for Chase to enforce Shawnee's primary responsibility to pay this amount, it's the court's intention to hold Shawnee responsible for any legal fees and costs which are incurred by Chase when Chase has to enforce your primary responsibility for these amounts.
Okay, so what he's saying is I have to work within the divorce. And how I need to work within the divorce is by making both people responsible. Obviously, the person who's already paid you has good cause that they'll probably pay you again. They'll just hire a lawyer, have that lawyer then file a contempt or what would it be? I guess a motion to hear about, I think it would be a contempt, not following the court order. And then he's plain as day. I mean, he's almost prejudging here, which is in itself a little bit unusual. But he's basically saying he would in that case find that she was responsible for those and award him attorney's fees. I find that interesting. Interesting case.
The party that does have standing to seek enforcement of this amount would be Chase, especially since he's now been made secondarily liable. And that liability doesn't trigger until 28 days from the date of the journal entry, which stems from today. Now, I'm relatively certain that Mr. Flores followed the court's reasoning and understand the court's orders, but I'm not sure that Shawnee does. So do you have any questions?
I do. You, Judge Ricky, ordered the courts to split this initial charges 50-50. The first initial interview was $600, which Chase and I both individually paid. But I paid the full amount and he paid the full amount. So why were we both charged for the initial fee?
But then she paid a deposit, and then what was left, and he said unless he had to show in court, and he did not, it was paid in full. And I wrote that $1,500 check. So you got 15, 15, and 600 from us. And I got the checks here.
Is that correct, Mr. Flores?
Your Honor, I understood.
Oh, hold on. Hold on, though. I thought she only paid 600. She paid 1,500 plus 600? Well, now we're at 4,200. Well, shit. Oh, mama came to town. I'm surprised that he's letting her speak. I'm surprised he's letting her speak. She's not even been sworn in as a witness, as far as I'm aware. She said 1,500, 1,500, and 600. I thought that, I don't understand. Let's just listen. Here's what I was to assume. I thought that Mama paid for everybody's at the beginning. She paid the 1,500 twice and a 600 for daughter. Ex-husband Chase paid his own 600 because the lawyer said he's paid up. So I had to think he also paid the 600. This might be a Klenda issue.
Had Miss Millward paid $600 for the first mediation meeting, and then an additional $1,500 to me for the investigation phase. And that totaled $2,100. That was her call it her trust, which I held in
Got a
trust.
check for me, and here it is cleared out of my bank.
For the 1,500?
The second 1,500 written on 8/10, the day I talked to you, that you told me there would be no more money due unless you had to show up in court, and you did not show up in court.
I'm
Well, there were
confused. So
two
you
$1,500 payments?
you made
correct.
two $1,500 payments?
This one was written on 8/10 by me,
Where's the other $1,500 payment?
Shawnee. Oh, there's only, you said you wrote a $1,500.
No.
Okay, no, I guess.
Oh my God. Oh my God, they're wrong. Oh, they didn't even get their story straight. Oh my God. Oh, no fucking way. How could they do that? How could you do sorry. Oh my God.
There's only one 1,500. I'm apologize. There's only one. There's a 6 and a 15. But when I talked to you, you told me that unless you showed in court, because I asked you, I said, how much does she owe? And I need to pay it now. And you told me a dollar amount, and I wrote it and sent it that day. And you said, unless I come to court, there would be no more fees. And nobody has seen you since and can't get a phone call from you either, because I called your office.
Your Honor, I think that my fee engagement letter contemplates an additional retainer amount to be paid in the event I have to appear at trial, and I think that's what Miss Millward's mother and Miss Millward are confusing in that regard. And my fee engagement letter does spell that out. But that was not this is the final fee that is going to be owed. That would have been the final retainer amount I required.
I asked you specifically, and you told me there would be no more money owed. And I had to wait online for like 30 minutes for somebody to find out. And I'll pull those phone records easy.
What phone records, honey? The phone record where you sit on the phone for 30 minutes? What's it going to prove? That doesn't prove anything.
And you know, Mr. Millward, the doctor right now has turned him to APS for child abuse. So those kids are being investigated right now. I wish somebody would read the court records that you make them buy and type all that crap in and see what's happening to my grandchildren.
Oh, lady, what the fuck is going on? Why is she even allowed to speak? He might hold her in contempt. And girl, you need to get away from your mother. The codependency is fucking dripping off of you. Oh.
I'll pay your money. Just save my kids.
Judge, I don't have anything responsive to that.
Nor would I expect you to, Mr. Flores. Very well. The court's ruling stands. It is an enforceable amount for domestic conciliation fees. I guess there may have been an understanding coming into today from Shawnee's side that more money had been paid to Mr. Flores than what actually has been paid. Again, the court finds that the amounts are certainly commensurate with what has been charged in similar cases. Again, the court finds those to be reasonable and is apportioned both primary and secondary responsibility accordingly. Shawnee, my recommendation to you is to make arrangements with Mr. Flores' office for payment of the remainder, so it doesn't go back on Chase. And then Chase will be coming back on you. But the domestic conciliator needs to be paid for providing service to the parties and to the court. Those are often seen to be replacing corresponding attorney fees that you'd be paying to your lawyer to litigate. And generally, you come out better financially in an alternative dispute resolution situation as compared to just outright litigation of your claims. So that's all part of the rationale. Mr. Flores, I'm going to ask you to draft an appropriate order stemming from today's proceedings. That can be direct submitted to me. And then the filing of that order is what will trigger the 28-day period. Mr. Flores, anything else we need to address currently?
No, Your Honor. Thank you for your time today.
All right. Shawnee Gibbs, anything further at this time?
I just request that you read my.
Okay, your voice is really trailing off.
I just request that you read the journal notes that I've been making.
Okay, I can't hear you. I don't know what's
I
happening.
request you read the journal entry about her children, please.
Why is mom's voice working? Seriously, why is mom's voice working? Read the journal entry about the children? What the fuck does that have to do with the fees? This is so weird.
fees. That's all she asks, is that you read
Journal
her.
entry about her children.
On the app that each of us are required to have. Please read it.
On
The
the
court
on
act.
our family wizard? She wants him to go into our family wizard? Holy Jesus. Okay. Hi, Fletcher boy.
That they have to communicate through, that you have access to. She's
I
asking,
don't have access to them.
then why are they paying for it? That's what they said.
Those apps are to help those two communicate. The court's not involved in those communications.
If you had a lawyer would make a motion hearing if there was an issue in the app. And they would present that information to the judge as exhibits, with the other side being able to object. Is this, hold on, are we bordering on ex parte? I think we're bordering on ex parte communications here, where she's trying to tell the judge to look at something specifically outside the presence of the other party. Now, because they were given notice of the hearing and didn't show up,
So, and as far as I know, there's no other motions or matters before the court other than the one that was argued and ruled upon today, so.
Right.
Okay, so I would suggest if you think that there's something else going on, to get appropriate legal advice in that regard. That's the only advice I can give. Okay? And if there's nothing further at this time, the Millward matter will currently be in recess. And this meeting may be ended for all at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
damn, they did not look happy. Did they? I'll make a note on that. I'm gonna have to make that into a video later. Should we do a little bit more? Just a little bit more? Is this Thursday? Yeah. Let's do a little bit more. That was a good one. That was a good one. Thanks, Judge Ricky. You're really coming through lately. Okay, we'll do a little bit more.
Yes, sir.
Court has
Okay.
appointed Mr. Sackrider to represent.
Hold on, please don't call me sir. And sorry, it started abruptly. Thanks, Jesus. If you don't know, Jesus is the court clerk in this court. He always sounds like he is saying sodomly instead of solemnly, and we like it.
You in this matter, have you had sufficient opportunity to speak to Mr. Sackrider in preparation for this hearing?
I do believe so, sir.
Okay, Mr. Sackrider, are you ready to proceed?
Mr. Sackrider is battling a creed frame at this point. Battling a creed frame. Prayers to Larry Beaver and Nightbot. They called him from jail in Phoenix last night.
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Champlin, I'll have you and Ms. Brown raise your right hand. We'll have you sworn in, then we'll proceed.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
They said, thank you, like I did, Fletcher boy. Thanks for spending your night off with us. Love it. Thank you so much. Were these people together? What's going on here? I don't even know what's going on. Also, Sackrider is a tough name. Like, what in his past, what in his family's past would have gotten him them the last name Sackrider? Can somebody look that up?
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Champlin is before the court.
You can't think of a worse name than Sackrider. What about Cockburn? I think Cockburn would be a pretty bad last name, and I'm pretty sure I've heard that last name.
This morning on docket 2008-1116DS. He has a monthly obligation of $147.50. His last payment was October 4th of 2022. That was $282, and that was a self-payment. Mr. Champlin failed to appear on July 19th of 2023 for an adjourned show cause hearing before your honor. This is his first bench warrant hearing. For 10 months of compliance, he should have paid $1,475. He's paid nothing. Total arrears through the end of April are $1,661. Mr. Champlin began paying support in March of 2019. The minor child had resided with him and now resides with a third-party payee. Just for the record, Mr. Champlin was terminated from the LEAP program in March of 2023. Medical documentation was sent to him in May of 2023. He failed to return that. He did book into the Calhoun County Jail on April 23rd.
Okay. Mr. Sackrider, do you dispute or contest any of the statements made by Ms. Brown? We have a connection issue with Mr. Sackrider, I guess.
Can I speak, sir?
Hold on. I'll have your
Okay.
attorney speak.
Can you still hear us, Kevin?
Kevin the Sack Rider? Oh, Kevin.
Mr. Sackrider, are you able to hear us?
I think he's trying a different device.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay. Question was, do you dispute or contest any of the statements made by Ms. Brown?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have questions for Ms. Brown?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay. Any proofs, Mr. Sackrider?
Yes, I call Mr. Champlin.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Champlin, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, you heard the testimony of Ms. Brown. Was there anything that you disagreed with?
What she said was namely true. Basically what had happened with Michigan Works is I had been filling out the paperwork for Michigan Works. I don't recall exactly how long I was doing that for. I think it was more than 10 weeks, I believe. And the lady at Michigan Works started getting impatient with me because I was having trouble finding a job due to not graduating high school because of a learning disability and because of she got upset with me and started doubling and tripling how much work I was supposed to turn in, and I did everything I could to stay 100% in compliance because I know this is not a game or a joke. And I know that the court was giving me an opportunity, you know, and so also too, I did turn in my paperwork to my doctor, and my doctor said that she was not willing or wanting, she did not believe that I was not able to work. And so she was not willing to fill that paperwork out. And that's
Jesus Christ, sir, you literally just introduced hearsay that is bad for you. Why would you do that?
why that paperwork did not get returned to Miss Sonia Brown. And as I told Kevin Sackrider, that I do have a elderly grandparent that wants me to help her maintain her yard. And I would be able to start immediately making some sort of a payment once I am able to help her work on the yard work, to at least try to make a minimum payment and try to get this thing turned around, try to get this completely turned around. That's what my intentions truly are. And yep.
Okay. What is your highest level of education completed?
9th grade.
Are you able to read and write?
I'm able to read and comprehend what I read pretty well. I'm not able to write. I'm not able to put my thoughts on.
What? That's unusual. That's a very unusual learning disability, because literacy is 100% a big problem in the world, even in first world, like North America. But I have a hard time understanding how you can read and comprehend what you're reading, yet a complete inability to write. Now, here's the thing. I know, like, for example, I know people with processing disorders. So it is like kryptonite to be writing things down, copying it from the board. It's not an effective usage of people's time. And it is something that they can be accommodated with in school, especially these days. Wait, but can't he use voice to text? And I'm probably wrong. I do understand. I'm sure that, but wait, no, if the doctor won't diagnose him, I don't know.
Paper very well at all.
All right. Do you have issues with transportation?
Yes. Yes, sir. Currently, I do have problems with transportation. I don't have my own vehicle. I do have some health issues.
Yeah, because how would you take the test to get a driver's license without being able to write? How would you fill out the form?
That I'm struggling with. But I'm not going to let any of that get in my way. You know, I've been here for 7 days. I've got some good clarity going on, and I know that it's my responsibility as a man to take care of my little girl, and I intend on doing that. And I just ask that the court give me this one last opportunity to show you that I mean well, and I will not let you down.
All right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay. Mr. Champlin, how have you been able to support yourself in the last year?
Your Honor, I've been living with my father and my mother, and I have been receiving some aid from the state.
So you haven't had any income in that time?
No, I have not, sir.
Okay. Let's say in the last year, what have you done to acquire employment?
To be honest, sir, I haven't done anything meaningful. That's why That's why.
Also, hold on. Let's just be realistic here. Landscaping, gardening, placement of highway signage. What else? What else? There's a couple others I can think of off the top of my head that you wouldn't need to necessarily write for.
After being here, I just want to try to turn everything around. I see the error in my ways. That's all I can say is I can see the error in my ways, and
Okay.
it's not okay.
Okay, anything else by you, Mr. Sackrider?
No, nothing further.
Well, court will make the following finding in this matter. Mr. Champlin does have a minimal support obligation, $147.50 per month, that he has not paid anything since back in October of 2022. So he's now a year and a half past his last payment. In the last year, he has stated he's residing with family members and that he hasn't done anything meaningful to acquire employment within that time. The court will therefore find that he has failed to exercise good faith attempt at compliance. He's failed to refuse to comply and failed to make a substantial or valid effort to comply. And as a result, the court will find him to be in contempt of court. Anything before sentencing, Mr. Sackrider?
Yes, thank you. I would note that my client has 0 prior contempt findings, that he has been incarcerated since April 23rd of this year. He testified that he does have a learning disability, which makes it more difficult to fill out applications. My client does live with payee in this case. He's testified that.
Oh, that makes it even worse. He's living with his parents who are the payees. That means they're the ones taking care of the kid.
He is willing to find employment. And so we would ask that he be sentenced to time served, be released today, and begin paying on this child support obligation. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, in this matter, the court had previously held to be in contempt. Obviously, some of the things Mr. Sackrider said are true, but he has acknowledged that he hasn't done anything in well over a year, and that would be consistent with the record. What I'm going to do is, Mr. Champlin, I could sentence you up to 45 days. I'm not going to do that because it is your first attempt, your first contempt finding in this matter. And your arrearage is not overwhelming, so taking all of that into consideration, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sentence you to 21 days in jail with credit for 8 days served. Court will put a purge amount in place of $500. If you're able to pay the purge amount, you would not have to serve the remaining time. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay, thank you. You're free to go. Have a good day, and I hope things turn around for you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
That's all I have. Have a
Okay.
great.
His payee, but I think they were talking about who the child support was the payee. It wouldn't make sense, other than that. I don't know. Okay, let's see if we got a little bit more from the judge before we call it a night tonight. Should go out looking so good tonight, but no. Oh, what did I want to talk about in the intermission? Thanks for the reminder. Oh my God. Okay, here's what I wanted to talk about. I listened to a news story today about these women who there was this big brouhaha, if you will, because they all use the same sperm donor. And it was a news report, and so they had like this wall up, you know, one of those walls where like a crime wall where they got like pictures of everybody and like string connecting everything. So they were talking about, I swear to God, I was fucking blown over. So what happened was they're talking about this, and I'm like, yeah, I've heard these stories before. You know, these guys go to different sperm banks. I guess they lie. I don't really know how they get around this, you know, the rules that we have here for donating sperm, etc. Like they have rules about who can donate, how many, etc., etc. Because they found these like 3 guys that had like 300 kids in Quebec, each of them. I swear to God, I can't even believe I have to say this. So evidently, these people, these women were going and answering Facebook ads for sperm donors. What? Why do I have to say that's a bad idea? Why do I have to explain that that's so fucking dumb? Like, I can't even begin to tell you. I felt sorry for them for about one instant. And then the second they said that, I was like, oh God. I mean, you almost deserve it at that point. What the fuck due diligence did you do? Oh, check his profile. Also, I think it was free. And that's the weirder part. I believe that they were doing it for free off of Facebook. What? I'm sorry, what? Why would that not scare the shit out of you? Also, in Canada, it is illegal to pay for sperm. It is illegal to pay for surrogacy. It is illegal to pay for eggs. It is illegal in Canada. So these men were, perhaps maybe the ad was so that they could avoid getting in trouble for that. But I have to assume that these are fucking delivered in Ziplocs, you know? Like you cannot, or what I actually thought was, oh, do they go and bang them? Right? Is that the sperm donation where they go and bang them? I don't think that is. But yeah, anyway, so please, again, things I didn't think I have to ever say. Don't buy sperm on Facebook. What the fuck? Oh my God. And the news article people don't seem fucking bothered by that part. Nobody was asking that. Excuse me, ma'am. What were you thinking? Are you delusional? Are you delulu? Yeah, only buy your sperm through a reputable dealer. Sperm. I can't even think of a good. Oh, there are fertility clinics, but you have to give for free. So if you are a surrogate, you can be reimbursed a certain low amount. Because healthcare is different in Canada. You can like the parents to be can pay for certain out-of-pocket medical expenses, but you can't pay them for their time. You can't pay them for being pregnant for 9 months. You can't, but they can do it legally through a doctor. They do all the tests. Everything is on the up and up, and it costs a lot to the fertility treatments and fertility doctors. But that's why it's very difficult to find surrogates in Canada, because somebody has to be willing to do it out of the goodness of their heart for you, as opposed to, in reality, it is something that people, pay for. That has become a problem for women traveling, or tourists basically getting surrogates across the world. And then, anyways, that's a whole different topic. Maybe. Oh God. Honestly, it just horrified me. Like, I already don't go on Facebook, but you could not fucking, like, if somebody in my life was like, and this is my, actually, I had somebody that had a sperm donor baby. That's a funny story. I gotta think of how to tell that story without doxing somebody. Yeah, I gotta think of that.
Thank you.
All right, take care, Sonny. All right, we're gonna move on now to Mr. Rodney Davis. And that's
With who?
Rodney Davis.
I know, but oh.
Oh, yeah. We're ready for you now, Mr. Davis.
Mr. Davis, in this matter, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court due to your failure to pay child support and or related expenses. Upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days in jail. Do you understand the charges?
Yes, sir.
Court has appointed Mr. Sackrider to represent you in this matter. Have you had sufficient opportunity to speak to Mr. Sackrider in preparation for this hearing?
Yes, sir, I have.
And Mr. Sackrider, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Tolf, Mr. Davis, I'll have you raise your right hands. We'll have you sworn in, then we'll proceed.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I do.
Okay. Ms. Tolf, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before the court is Rodney Davis of 7 dockets. We're here today for all cases on a bench warrant hearing after Mr. Davis failed to appear before this court on April 3rd, 2024. Starting
EO is usually an enforcement order. Hold on. Did she just say 7 dockets? As in 7 individual cases, possibly holding more than 1 child per? Dang, sir.
off with docket number 2003-2489 DP, Mr. Davis's total monthly obligation is $16. This docket is arrears only as the minor children have emancipated, so he is ordered to pay $12.50 per month on arrears and $3.50 towards service and processing fees. His last payment was $120.06 on January 21st, 2021. On this docket, it is his 12th show cause. He's had 12 bench warrants and 8 previous contempt findings. Monitoring his compliance for the last 6 months at the rate of $16 per month means he should have paid $96 and he has paid nothing. His total arrears on this docket are currently at $27,965.98. Moving on to docket number 2003-3954 DP, Mr. Davis's total monthly obligation is $33.50. This case is also arrears only, so per guideline, he should be paying $30 per month on arrears and $3.50 for processing fees. His last payment received on this docket was $17.65 on January 21st, 2021. It is his 12th show cause. He's had 12 bench warrants and 8 previous contempt findings. Monitoring his compliance for the last 6 months at the rate of $33.50 per month means he should have paid $201 and he has paid nothing. Total arrears on this docket are at $6,744.08. On docket number 2006-3917 DP.
Okay, so just so you guys know, I'm keeping track of this. We have 2 children born in 2003, and he owes $28,000 and $6,700. Now we have a 2006 kid. For some reason, he paid. Well, maybe he just didn't owe that. I don't know. Let's see. Let's continue. We're going to 7 of these. This I got to make into a video too because this is insane.
Mr. Davis's total monthly obligation is $77. This comes from $49 for current support, the guideline amount of $24.50 for arrears, and $3.50 for processing fees. The last payment received on this docket was $20.54 in January of 2021. On this docket, he has had 11 show causes, 11 bench warrants, and 7 previous findings of contempt. Measuring compliance for the last 6 months at $77 per month means he should have paid $462 and he has paid nothing. Arrears on this docket are at $8,886.98. Docket number 2010-2081 DP, Mr. Davis's total monthly obligation is $86. This comes from $55 for current support, the guideline amount of $27.50 for arrears, and $3.50 for service and processing fees. Last payment received on this docket was $8.67 on January 21st, 2021. He has had 8 show causes, 8 bench warrants, and 4 previous contempt findings. Measuring compliance for the last 6 months at $86 means he should have paid $516 and he has paid nothing. Total arrears on this docket are at $5,980.07. Docket number 2013-880 DP, Mr. Davis's total monthly obligation is $81.50. This comes from $52 for current support, the guideline amount of $26 towards arrears, and $3.50 for fees. His last payment received on this docket was $23.71 in January of 2021. He has had 5 show causes, 5 bench warrants, and 1 previous contempt finding. Measuring compliance for the last 6 months at a rate of $81.50 means he should have paid $489 and he has paid nothing. Total arrears on this docket are currently at $21,358.77 through the month of April. On docket number 2015-273 DP, Mr. Davis's total monthly obligation is $87.50. This comes from $56 for current support and the guideline amount for arrears of $28 plus $3.50 for service and processing fees. Last payment received was $83.43 in January of 2021. He has had 4 show causes, 4 bench warrants, and 1 previous contempt finding. Measuring compliance for the last 6 months at $87.50 means he should have paid $525 and he has paid nothing. Current arrears are at $11,516.67. And lastly, docket 2021-3094 DS, Mr. Davis's total monthly obligation is $225.50. This comes from $148 for current support, the guideline amount of $74 for arrears, and $3.50 for processing fees. He has never made a payment on this docket. He has had 1 show cause, 2 bench warrants, and no contempt findings. Arrears on this docket are currently at $4,497. Friend of the court would like your honor to be aware that when I spoke to Mr. Davis in Calhoun County Jail in January of 2014, he did report to me that he could not work due to a gunshot injury.
Sweetheart, you were not talking to him in 2014. She means 2024. I've got all the numbers. I'm going to add them up here. I guarantee he has not been in jail since 2014. But let me just do the quick math here. Okay. Plus. Oh my God. No, that can be right. Peasley, did you do it wrong? You did it wrong. Okay, hold on. Oh, no, what is happening? I'll hit play while I do this.
He also had stated he had been approved for Social Security benefits. He was released from Calhoun County Jail at that time in order to provide friend of the court with medical documentation as well as Social Security documentation, which he never did. He does have previous 90-day jail sentences on all dockets besides the 2021 docket, and he booked into Calhoun County Jail on April 19th, 2024.
Okay, well, that doesn't tell me how many days credit he has because I don't know when he got out.
I believe it's 13 days, Your Honor.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
thanks. Mr. Sackrider, do you continue?
Total owing $86,967, and his total monthly payment, if he was to pay every monthly amount owing, would be 602. That's a lot. 602, but not really for 7 kids.
Contest or dispute any of the statements made by Ms. Toth?
No, Your Honor.
You have any questions for Ms. Toth?
No, I don't.
Okay, any proofs, Mr. Sackrider?
Yes, I call Mr. Davis.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Davis, you've been in jail for 13 days. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you being held on any other criminal matters?
I have a charge possession to, I go to court tomorrow where I will get probation. I will be on probation for that.
Okay. It was alleged that you failed to appear at a previous court date. Did you receive notice of that?
I believe it went to my mailing address, but my mailing address is not my home, so I would have came if I would have knew, but my mother, for some reason, just gets my mail now. I have so many court papers coming to the house now. She doesn't even open them and doesn't even tell me when I have them. So I would have never missed it if I would have knew. I've been on the up and up for a minute now.
Do you have any medical conditions that are preventing you from finding work?
Yeah, I have bullets in my back. I'm supposed to have surgery on the 22nd of this month, and my sciatic nerve, like my left bottom, long story short, bottom of my leg, my left leg doesn't cooperate with me anymore. Doesn't work.
All
Like
right, so
go ahead. I'm sorry.
You have bullets in your back?
Yeah, I was shot. Believe when I stopped making pay, I was shot on a couple of years ago. I was shot and injured.
All right. Are you applying for Social Security disability income?
Yes, I was applying for Social Security right around the time she said. I didn't know if I said if I was approved or not, but I'm sorry if I made a mistake to the court. I was denied, but now I'm going back through the process, and I got to go to the doctor and do all that stuff. But I can show I actually have documentations of me going through that process. So,
all right. Sorry, go ahead.
I just did when they released me. I released from here and went to Kalamazoo County Jail. I didn't go straight home. I went straight to Calhoun County Jail, and then I was released about a month and a half or two ago. And I missed. I should have got a proof of incarceration because I didn't know it was the 4th of April.
All right. Ms. Tolf said she's asked you for documentation of your injury in your Social Security application, but that she has not received that. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
All right. What is the issue of providing her medical documentation?
It really wasn't an issue. It's when I got out of jail, I didn't go home. I went to Kalamazoo. It's no issue for me to get out and come down there and provide documentations of my surgery that's coming up. There's really no issue of that.
Oh, your upcoming surgery? No, sir. They want your previous paperwork while you haven't been paying.
Being irresponsible and not providing, not staying on track with what I need to be doing.
All right. So you were booked into Calhoun County Jail in mid-April. When were you incarcerated before that?
I was incarcerated in January, and then I got out of here and I went to Kalamazoo Jail on my release of here. I don't know the exact dates, but on my release of here, I went to Kalamazoo Jail and served some time there. I served about a month there, about a month and some days there, and then I got out.
That was this year?
Yeah, that was this year.
All right. How did you support yourself from when you were released from Kalamazoo County Jail to your incarceration in Calhoun County in April?
I really have no support. I get food stamps, and then I stay with my children's mother. So I'm staying with my son's mom right now, and I really don't have no income until I get approved for my SSI. or my Summit Point. I have a Summit Point. I'm starting to go through Summit Point. So right now I have no income.
Okay, what services are you receiving at Summit Point?
I'm trying to get that. I'm going through them. I try to get my SSI or I believe it's SSI, but I'm just having meetings right now and trying to get approved because I was denied the first time for which I don't know why I wasn't not approved, but I'm still going through I'm going through the whole other process again. Now I gotta have the bullet taken out my back and have to do so much to get approved. I don't know what's the problem with me getting approved with it, but I'm just fighting it. I'm just fighting to get that done because I can't work and my leg is really torn to pieces.
All right, what is your surgery on May 22nd for?
To get the bullets out my back. It's not really my leg that's messed up. It's my sciatic nerve from when I was shot. It's something about my sciatic nerve that goes down to my left foot. So it's tore up and they said the bullet can move. So I have to get the bullet out of there. And I guess that's what they want me to do just to get approved for SSI, which I don't get that because I didn't want to have the surgery, but that's the process I have to go through.
All right. When were you shot?
I believe right around I think 22nd, around this year on the 22nd.
What? That doesn't make any sense. The 22nd of April? No, you've been in jail for 13 days. That means that you were in jail on the 22nd of April. The 22nd of what? If he says fucking 2013 or 14 or 15 or 16 or 17 or 18, I'm going to be a little bit sus.
Not the 22nd of this day, but year 2022. Around this time last, 2 years ago, basically. I'm sorry.
All right. What's your highest level of education completed?
I graduated high school.
All right. Anything else you would like the court to know?
My stepchild's well, I just want to see if I can get released and bring these documents down here. My stepchild is currently going through some medical conditions where he's going back and forth to the hospital, and I just have to be there for my son because no one's capable of watching my son at the time. It's just my life is just a lot of chaotic, so I'm just trying to get back home so I can watch my son for my fiance can deal with her children the way she's properly can. Because my son is only my son just turned 1 on the 20th, and I miss his birthday and all that. But he has no current. We have nobody to watch him. We don't have childcare or anything like that. And my mother's been dealing with it, and I just want to get home so I can deal with that.
All right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Davis, obviously you have some issues, and you're not helping yourself when you don't communicate with your enforcement officer. What have you done in the last year to acquire employment or anything?
I actually can't stand no longer than 5 minutes on my foot. Like to be honest, I haven't really looked for work because I know I can't work with my back problems and the pain. So,
Sir, look at his shifty eyes. You graduated high school. You can you can work from your ass. You're able to fuck. I'd like to point that out. Am I wrong on that? He has a 1-year-old? That's his son? I guess if it's the knee down and he's on his knees, then I can see it working just fine.
I'm not going to sit here and tell a lie like I've been looking for employment. I've actually been looking to try to get my disability and my things going on so I can pay child support off with that. My injuries are, I could have died on my injuries. So I don't know how my leg works.
But you didn't. You didn't. Oh my God. What is going on? I don't pick these, by the way. Let's just keep that in mind. Thank you. Jeez. Like I almost pulled my boob out there, my nipple. My boobs are already out, but I was like, nipple? And now I've distracted myself.
Issue with the
Hit the button. Okay, let's find him. Fuck. Okay, his head was down. His head was down. Now he's talking. Now he's talking. Fuck. I put it up. I don't remember where we were.
he claims that he still has the issues concerning his.
My injuries are, I could have died of my injuries. So I don't know how my leg works, or they try to explain it to me, but I can't stand on my 2 feet.
Okay. Anything else you'd like me to be aware of, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, the court's heard the testimony in this matter that Mr. Davis has stated that he is suffering from the consequence of a gunshot wound back in 2022. That Ms. Talford asked him to provide medical documentation about his injuries as well as his Social Security claim, and he states that he did not provide that to her, and he states that he was irresponsible in not doing that, and the court would agree with.
Also, aren't there some pretty badass people out there that work from wheelchairs? I'm being serious. I'm being totally serious. I'm like, before I was sort of joking, but like legit, if you can't walk, there are wheelchair jobs. Like there are jobs you can do from wheelchair. There's a woman that works at the grocery store that I go to, and I would call her profoundly handicapped. And yet she's at fucking work. So I'm actually, I don't feel sorry for him now. I'm remembering her and I'm like, no. Safeway will hire you in a wheelchair. It's all one floor. That's a perfect self-checkout person.
Him in that matter. She's trying to help him and see if there's a basis as to what that he can't work, etc. And she can't do that when she has no information. He claims that he still has the issues concerning his health problems, but he states he was denied for a Social Security disability. And he is not providing medical documentation that the court can make any assessment of in this matter. And that as a result, the court will find that he's failed to exercise good faith attempt at compliance. He's failed to refuse to comply in this matter. The last payment was back in 2021. That was prior to his gunshot wound, actually more than a year prior to that. He hasn't made any payments since that time. So now we're going on close to 3.5 years. Yes, sir.
I was just being irresponsible. I do have the documentation. I just didn't bring it down to her.
Okay, well, it doesn't help us unless you bring it down. So if you
Okay,
don't bring it down to us, it's like you don't have it. So that's all I can tell you.
Okay.
So the court will find that he is in contempt of court in this matter, and anything before sentencing, Mr. Sackrett.
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask that he be sentenced to time served, that he be released from jail today so that he can get that medical documentation and complete his application for Social Security and disability income. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, in this matter, based upon Mr. Davis's failure to utterly comply with anything and any request in this matter, and based upon his past records where He has had 12 bench warrants, 12 show causes. That he has at the most, he has 8 prior contempt findings in this matter. The court, well, now with this, he's got 9 contempt findings. The court is going to sentence him to 90 days in jail with credit for 13 days served. The court will allow him to purge himself of contempt by paying the sum of $200 in each of his cases. And that will be the order of the court. Sir, you had a question?
Last time I was here, I served 14. Would I get credit for those?
You'll get credit for the 13 days that you served at this time.
What about one more thing? I was supposed to have surgery.
Well, you'll have to work that out. That's not an issue, not a problem for us. So you'll have to work it out, sir.
Okay.
Okay, that will be the order of the court. You're free to go. Have a good day.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, all right. I think that's enough. We've been going over Jesus Christ. We've been going over 2 hours. I need to eat. I also have to upload some videos. Hopefully that works finally. Wasn't working earlier. Anyways, I hope that you guys had a great night tonight. Good cases. Sometimes I surprise even myself. Reminder that tomorrow is Friday. Oh my God, we made it through another week. Can you believe that? I actually can't. Some days I just think, is this really it? Is it really another week again? We're all counting down to something, right? Anyways, I love you guys so much. You crack me up. I had a great time tonight. Thanks for all the compliments. Thanks for all the support, as always, and all the comments. Remember that I love you, I'm proud of you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.